Hey folks, FGFRC. Alright, we're going to be taking up the Arrows F-15 in the Oregon Air National Guard. This is actually a remaiden in that I now have the AS3X Plus on board, and we'll go over the rates and settings. I want to fly this first time. I redid all the control surfaces, just kind of recentered everything, and so I'm going to have to, this first flight will be in manual mode only. I will not have the AS3X on. I just want to make sure she's trimmed out. And then the second flight, we'll actually fly her in AS3X. But this flight's going to be in manual mode. Second flight will be with the wind gyro. All right. Got the tanks off because I want to make sure she's trimmed right before I... And then the second flight, I might, well, I'll probably leave the tanks off. Has very narrow gear, so you have to remember that. Let me get my hat cam position better.
Takeoff flaps.
Timer set for 3.5 minutes. Here we go.
Up.
Like I said, I'm in manual mode, high rates. Got a 4,000 Sokokin. No, I got a 4,000 HRB.
Time remaining 3 minutes.
Just a touch down elevator needed. Not bad. Yeah. I think she's flying fine.
Gear down.
Yeah.
Flaps up.
All this time I've been flying.
Time remaining 2 minutes. Landing flaps.
All this time I've been flying with takeoff flaps on. All right.
Takeoff flaps up.
So that may be why I had 4 clicks of elevator. So let me take off again. And this time I'm just going to take off with no flaps in case I forget, and I need to make sure she's trimmed again. Because I was flying around with my takeoff flaps still engaged. So I really can't tell. So, let's start over. Not using takeoff flaps, we're going to just, there.
Gear up.
That still needs a touch of up elevator, so. Yeah. All right. Nope, she's flying good.
Time remaining 1 minute.
All right, she's right where I want her to be.
Gear down. Landing flaps.
Remember, I'm in manual mode. I don't
30
have...
seconds.
No kind of gyro or anything in right now. All right. Kept her on a runway. And I don't have reverse thrust. All right, we got enough in her for one more takeoff. One more takeoff and landing.
20 seconds.
Or at least we're going to push it. Well, we better not. Yeah, we will. Just a quick hop.
Landing flaps. Timer expired.
All right.
Flaps up.
All right, now all three of those takeoff and landings, I think it was three, everything was done in manual mode. AS3X Plus, safe, none of that's engaged. Now the next flight will be in AS3X Plus, and we'll share all my rates and everything I flew in after the conclusion of both flights. Take her back to bench, give her some time to rest, and change batteries. All right, second flight with the Arrows F-15. And just so you know, I don't think I said it in the first video, this F-15 was sent to me by Hobby Zone for review. Thank you, Hobby Zone. Right, left, up, down, right, left.
AS3X mode.
We're going to be in the AS3X Plus mode this time with the tanks on. I decided to go ahead and fly with the ordnance, give it the full effect.
Takeoff flaps.
This is one of the best sounding EDFs, but Twin 64s just sound great anyways. All right, just got to remember to come out of the flaps. All right, here we go. Timer set for 3.5 minutes.
Flaps up.
Flaps are up. A little bit up elevator needed, probably drag from the tanks.
Time remaining 3 minutes.
I will tell you this, she feels a lot more locked in, a lot more intuitive. All right.
Gear down.
Get ourselves a landing.
Time remaining 2 minutes. Landing flaps.
Flaps
up.
Didn't like it.
Landing flaps.
All right.
Flaps up.
All right. Real quick, I didn't notice how my gains are working or not. I mean, she's flying really great, but I didn't know if on my knob, if my knob's correcting for high gains versus low gains. Let me just indulge me. Okay, yeah, she's working. All right, so let me turn them all the way up on the knob, and they should be exaggerated. Yes, and they are. Okay, all right. I was just checking the gain sensitivity on the knob, not necessarily the settings. So we'll go up and finish this flight. Still got 2 more takeoffs and landings. All right. I'm going to take off this time with no takeoff flaps. Okay.
Gear up.
Gear up. Definitely a little bit of drag with the tanks. So you may have to
Time remaining 1 minute.
dial in just a touch of up elevator with it when you put the tanks on. All
Gear
right.
down.
We do a dirty pass.
Landing flaps.
I'm gonna come by dirty. Gears down, flaps are down.
30 seconds.
All right.
Flaps up. 20 seconds. Landing flaps.
Notice I put my landing flaps back down when I'm about halfway down the field before I make my final approach. Kind of like a half U. Don't like it?
Flaps up.
Flaps back up.
Timer expired. Landing flaps.
If it don't feel right, go around. Provided you got the battery for it. All right.
Flaps up.
You notice here, feel that here, see that wind hit her there at the last and she started rocking a little bit? You get too slow, she'll drop a wing. But that's like that with any plane. So you gotta have a little positive momentum. Well, that's kind of a stupid thing to say, positive momentum. Yeah, otherwise she drops like a brick. But yeah, at least quarter throttle there. All right, let's take a moment real quick,
Motor off.
look at this plane, and then we'll go back to the bench and talk about both flights. But I was very impressed with how she handled in with the AS3X Plus. Just a little more locked in, and I know that phrase is horribly overused, but it's just the best description I can think of for describe how a plane flies. They're just locked in. That's just a good way to describe it. But good looking plane, good flying plane, and actually she flew really well in manual mode. Just a little bit better, a little more locked in with the AS3X. So definitely worth the upgrade, but if you can't afford that kind of a receiver, then she'll fly just fine without a gyro receiver. Let's go back to the bench, talk about it. All right, we're back. Now, first flight, I was 20 seconds over. And this flight, I was also 20 seconds over. First flight, I had 29% left on an HRB 4000 with a 60C. Now, just like this plane and just like the MiG-29 from Arrows, they have very poor cooling for their inside electronics. And this one's 22%. I might have been, you know what, I might have been 15 seconds and this one's 20 seconds over. But this one, I think I did one extra go around. But like I say, this one has 22% left over. And you have a very tight fit in there. To show you where I put the 4000, where she'll CG just right, is about 1/3 of the battery tucked in behind the battery well there. And 1/3, the other 2/3 hanging out. So basically right there in the back, so you've got a large section open in the front. That's my AR631 that's been upgraded today to the AS3X Plus. But yeah, they need to put more venting because this battery is hot. And there's nothing There's plenty of cooling for the ESCs and the motors, but there's really nothing, just a tiny little hole right here where the gear, well, there's just nothing really there. It's just a little hole there, and that is nothing in the way of cooling. But that's a drawback on both of these planes. This one and the MiG-29. However, it does have some of the best gear in this class. And let's go over, show you the gear real quick. Very strong, robust gear. Oleo suspension on everything. And pretty quick up and down. Okay, now let's go over the plane rates, and then we'll go over the AS3X rates. All right. Plane set, well, she won't fall off of there. All right, right off the bat, we'll talk about the regular plane rates. All right, I flew in my high rates, both flights, ailerons, 100% throws with 30% expo, elevator, 100% throws, 30% expo, rudder, 100% throws with 40% expo to help me with my steering. My flap system, no mix, flaps up are a -100 in spectrum. Takeoff are -20, hopefully you can see it, -25, no mix. And then landing is a +100 with no mix. All right, now let's talk about the AS3X settings. Okay. The gains. The roll I have from 40 down to 30. I dropped everything by 10. The pitch from 50 to 40. And the yaw from 60 to 50. So 30, 40, and 50. Roll, pitch, and yaw. All right. My priorities, they were at 140, which is the normal default. I dropped all my priorities down to 100. Roll, pitch, and yaw, all at 100. Okay. Heading, I didn't do anything with. Stop lock. I'll go back to that screen. Stop lock. They're normally set 35 for roll, pitch, and yaw. I bumped all of them up to 50 because I like a nice crisp stop when I do my let go with the servos. The release rate I didn't mess with. That's still the default of 55, 55, and 75 for roll, pitch, and yaw. And I didn't do anything else. I left the gains at 1 sensitivity. Don't have a nose wheel because I've only got a 6-channel receiver. If I wanted to do the nose wheel gyro, I'd have to have a 7th channel because it needs its own separate channel. All right. CG on the plane, I'm very sorry. I don't remember the actual numbers. But where I showed you where you put the battery at, she balances really well. And I want to say you find the wheel well, the end of the wheel well, and go straight in. But I honestly don't remember. So it'll be in the description of the video. But where I showed you the battery is where she balances really well. I mean, I flew inverted several times for some little bit of length, and that's really one of the best way to tell whether your plane is balanced right is flying inverted with a jet. If she doesn't pitch up or down, then you got your balance right. So, well, there you go. Hobby Zone again. Thank you for sending out the F-15 in the Oregon Air National Guard livery. It's a beautiful plane. She's just dusty. Of course, the best way to de-dust a plane is to fly it. But I need to get her clear coat on her. But all right, folks. Well, thank you so much for watching. God is good. And don't forget, faith, family, and friends. And then arrows, F-15, Strike Eagles. Bye-bye.